All right, well, this section we're going to talk about the sources of criminal law. So the first source of criminal law is the United States Constitution. And the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. In other words, I can't make a law, a local law that says, hey, I can search people's cars without a warrant, unless the Constitution authorizes it. And we'll talk about constitutional law a little bit later on. California has its own constitution. It's much larger than the United States Constitution. There's been a lot of attempts to reform it, to narrow it down, but we keep adding constitutional amendments. Every time we have one of those elections with propositions on there, some of those are, in fact, amendments to the California Constitution, as they have to do with taxation and things like that. The next part of the Constitution I want to talk about is the Bill of Rights. It's the first 10 amendments. I've got a little video you're going to see in the next section. For those of you who had me at AJ100, it's the same video we watched there. It's pretty entertaining. It's only a couple minutes long, and it kind of describes what the Bill of Rights are about and how they affect the criminal law in California, actually in the whole United States. Next thing we're going to talk about are statutes, and those are laws that are passed by Congress, state legislature, and local governments. The first one to talk about is the United States Code, USC, not the University of Southern California, but United States Code. That is a set of regulations which regulate anything that the United States government has jurisdiction over. And if you know a little bit about the law, if you had AJ100 with me, we talked a lot about that, about jurisdiction, such as can a state officer enforce federal law, such as immigration law? No, they cannot. They have to call the local authorities, the federal authorities to do that. So that's the United States Code. California has a number of codes. This is the Penal Code. There's a link, if you look on the homepage of Statutes, there's a link to the California Penal Code. It's actually a link to all of our codes. The Vehicle Code, which deals with cars, the Health and Safety Code, which deals with drug offenses, the Welfare and Institutions Code, which deals with juveniles and police powers to take custody and action against juveniles. And then a lot of the municipalities have their own codes, like the City of Compton or the City of Torrance. Some of the municipal codes run from everything like you can't park on some street during a certain amount of time for, maybe you can't leave your car parked on the street for more than 72 hours, something like that. Those are local laws. Those have the same weight as a penal code law. There is some court case decisions to say that Compton can't say supersede the vehicle code. Compton can't say, well, it's okay to not wear your seatbelt. It's okay to talk on your cell phone in the city of Compton. They couldn't do that because it would violate what they call the state right to enforce the vehicle code. And then you have case law, and case law has the same weight as anything else that's written down. And what a case law is a Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court has ruled on a constitutional issue and said this is the way the rules are going to be. One of the most common ones people know about is Miranda versus the United States. Excuse me, U.S. versus Miranda. Miranda was a gentleman, was arrested, charged with a crime. They interrogated him. They didn't tell him he had the right to remain silent. Well, the Constitution says you have the right to remain silent, but there was no requirement for the police to tell you that up until 1967 when the Miranda decision came down. One of your assignments for this semester is going to be, as a group, to comment and do a little lesson on one of the constitutional laws. Miranda's not going to be one of them. It'll be a number of the other cases that are up there. And what I'll do is I'll post the cases and I'll let you give you a chance to self-divide into groups. And then if you don't join a group, I'll go ahead and put you into a group. I'll discuss that all later on. It's not that hard of assignment, and it's all done online. You don't have to do it in person or anything. It's all done what's called asynchronously, which means that you can do it at different times. We'll be using Google Docs to do that.